normal reverse order name. As always, try this yourself before we go over it. And now that you've tried it yourself, we can go over it. So we should complete self-check 8.7 before answering this question, and that's because we want to add two methods to our name class. And in 8.7, we made this public class name that has these private variables in it, and we're going to be referencing these private variables inside of here. So we're basically adding on to this class. You can think of all of this being inside of here, and then we are just going to have the methods that it's telling us to write in here. So we'll have like public string get normal order, and then we will also have our public string get reverse order, and these are accessor methods. So this well, it's a printing actually. We're getting the normal and getting the reverse, so it's basically a print method inside of our class. So that's what's happening in here. We don't need these though, so we can just get rid of that. That's just how everything is going to work. Now that you know that, read the instructions on these. I'm briefly going to go over them, but let's assume that you've read them and we'll get right into the methods. Essentially what we're doing is we want to return a string whenever this is called. So in like a main function, in our main method, you know, like public static void main, you would have a new instance of our name class. So you'd have like name x is equal to new name, something like this, right? And then later you do like x dot get normal order, and that's pretty much it. You would call the normal order of the names that you pass in. You would have these be assigned, or you would assign them later. But if you don't know how to do that, we'll go over that later in a next video in the playlist linked below the like button. But for a get normal order, all we're going to want to do when this is called is we want to return the first name, the middle initial with a period, and then the last name. It's pretty simple. So first name, we're going to call this. We're going to have a space here. We are going to have our middle initial. We're going to have a period and then another space. And then we're also going to have our last name. And that's pretty much all for this one. That's all that's going to be in our method. It's just one line. So let's go into our reverse order. And it's going to be pretty similar. The only thing is that our last name is first. We'll have this space still. Then we have our first name. And then we have a space. We have our middle initial. And then that's it. So we can get rid of this last name part right here and get rid of this space. We can press submit, and we can see if we pass 1 out of 2 tests. So one of our tests didn't pass. Let's see, it looks like it's because we forgot a comma right here. So after last name, we should have a comma here, and then submit. And that passed 2 out of 2 tests. So that's how we would go over the self-check, kind of the methodology behind it. And that's it for this problem. If you have any questions, you can leave them below in the description.